So thank you very much for joining me, Glen, from
Oh,
DropBear
it's a pleasure.
Woodworks. The pleasure is
Pleasure.
mine, sir. The pleasure is mine. How are you, first of all?
It's been a long day, mate. I've been stuck at my buffer over here for about the last 6 hours polishing stems.
Oh,
I got commissioned to polish up 20 Peterson stems for a guy. And me being the helpful lad I am,
yeah.
yeah, I didn't bank on just how much work standing up it was. So,
But were they
yeah.
lime green vulcanite?
Actually, they weren't in that bad a condition, but instead of sanding or wet sanding like I normally do, I'm using Tripoli on a buffing wheel first and then white diamond.
Is that the red stuff, Tripoli? No.
That's the red stuff, yeah. It's a lot less aggressive than what sanding is.
Right,
And some of these stems are off like gold spigots, silver spigots,
right.
Sherlock Holmes pipes and pipes that Peterson don't make anymore. So it's like,
Yeah.
don't let this one fly out of the hands. So
Yeah, got to be careful.
yeah.
Do you have some kind of public liability insurance? Do you have to do that as a pipe maker? Or? Nah. Yeah.
No, basically people send me stuff to clean up for. They do it at their own risk. I mean, of course I take all necessary due care, but it's what it is. I mean, I'm not going to do anything that potentially will ruin someone's pipe.
Mm.
I treat them like I would my own. So I'm going to pop this thing because I've been waiting.
You've had this tin. You've been threatening to pop it for a while. Explain to everyone what it is then.
It's Esoterica Dorchester. It's a vapor as best I know. I've never had it before, so I was going to beans it, and I tried yanking off the lid. Oh, it did it.
You did it.
I just beansed it. There you go. Us mere mortals can do it.
Never been able to do that either.
Oh wow. This tin's about 3 years old, I think it is. It's like fruitcake.
So it's a vapor, nothing else?
Vapor, a few Virginias, that's it. There you go. Jermaine's quality control.
So that stuff it's like gold dust. Both in the UK, Germain's is starting to go down the esoterica route. I know Germain's make esoterica, but it's starting to get that way with all Germain's blends as well. Then, do you have many of them then? The esoterica range?
You can't get Germain's or esoterica here unless it's specifically ordered in. So the chap I got this off had somehow managed to smuggle it in past border patrol and I polished some pipes for him and this was the payment that I got. We'll work for tobacco.
Yeah, fucking right.
Oh, that's insane.
I mean, what are you going to spend the money on anyway?
More bloody tobacco or supplies for the workshop, one of the two.
A tin of Dorchester will do nicely.
Absolutely.
Right, so I always ask people about their name, Glen. DropBear Woodworks. What is a DropBear? Is it a koala? Is that what?
It's a mythical pretend feral koala, if you will. Mm-hmm. It's basically it was I think it came from a TV commercial where I think there was a couple of blonde Swedish girls camping and a couple of Aussie guys over the way, wanting to get on with the Swedish girls, and they said, "Oh no, don't camp over there." And they said, "Well, why not?" And they've gone, "Oh, because of the DropBears," and they're keen, they're mates with the DropBear, so he drops down on their tent, and of course the girls come running to the Aussie guy's tent. So, but it sort of morphed into. At one stage, I was driving tourist buses, and of course we get European tourists or American tourists, and you'd have a bit of fun with them because they wouldn't know what the hell a DropBear was.
Yeah.
And you'd say to them, don't go here, don't go there because there's drop bears. And they say, what's a drop bear? Said, well, it's a koala with two big fangs, and they drop down and they sink their fangs into the back of your neck. And of course, everything here apparently will kill you.
Yeah.
And so, it was just a bit of a, play with the tourist kind of deal. So,
yeah, people who are going to Australia for the first time, they already have made up their mind that anything wild will kill you. You know, if you go for to the toilet, you're going to get bitten by a poisonous snake or something. You know, everyone has that.
Yeah, apparently there's a snake at under every leaf, and a redback spider under every toilet seat, sort of thing. So that seems to be the common misconception, where to find a poisonous snake or a poisonous spider, you've actually got to go and find them. So it's not as bad as everyone thinks. So,
what part of Oz are you actually in then?
I'm in Brisbane, which is the capital city of Queensland. So yeah.
Have you been there most of your life?
I was originally born in Sydney, down in New South Wales, and we moved to Queensland with my parents when I was about 14. So it's 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of moved around the place. I think I've lived in 3 different states. My wife is from New South Wales. We lived down there for near on 7 years, and moved back up here in the early 2000s, and we've been here ever since.
Mm.
So, we lived in a country town called Kingaroy, which is about 2.5 hours northwest of here for a number of years, and we've been down here in Brisbane now. We come down here 2014, I believe. No, 2013.
Okay. And that's a beautiful mare you've got there. It looks old.
Not that old, actually. It was a gift from another YouTuber. What's he go by now? His name's Eric Horpert, but he goes with Fisherman Piper, I believe he goes by now. He went to the Chicago Pipe Show, and I said, hey, if you see a billiard mare or a bulldog mare, grab it, and I'll send you the money. And this turned up in the mail one day, and said, here's a gift. So, but it's basically a beta mare. I test everything that I get in here for the first time. So, it's got some color on it, but it's scratched up and it's not gently treated, put it that way.
Yeah, it's your workhorse.
It's a workhorse of a pipe. So it's lighter. It's just a good. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, matches it.
There we go.
No.
There we go. Oh, that's zesty.
Is that your first time smoking that blend then?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
First impressions from Glen. Fantastic.
Zesty. Lots of perique in that one. That's good.
How old did you say the tin was? At least 5 or 6 or
3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
That one's 3 years. Yeah.
So
not
just
bad.
Should be ripe by now, anyway.
So it's ripe, all right.
You mentioned you were asking him to look out for bulldogs, and what other shape did you mention? Billiard.
Billiards.
Would those be your two predominantly your favorites, or?
Not really. My favorite pipe is a Prince.
Mm-hmm. Really?
I'm Princes and apples is where it's at for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you.
You have like a couple of Savinelli Princes too, don't you? I forget.
I got one. I got a 315 Savinelli.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 408, which is not really. It's a 408 Peterson, which is not. I know. It's you tell me. Is that an apple or a Prince? I think it's more of an apple.
Yeah, I think you're right.
There's that one. I've got a. He doesn't make pipes anymore, unfortunately. This one's going with me to my grave. This is my favorite pipe. This fellow by the name of 363 Pipes made this. Brendan, can never remember his last name, but Yeah, this one's going with me to the grave. This has seen a lot of plug tobacco because that's all I ever smoke in it.
Okay.
So yeah, that and a few other pipes. So yeah, but most predominantly apples and princes is where it's at for me. I'm not really a big bowl, pipe guy sort of thing.
Okay, yeah. Will not hold that against you. Small bowls are just as, if not more, effective. I think a nice small bowl. You take your time with it. There's no point. You're wasting less tobacco at the end. A small bowl, I find I always have more chance of finishing it and emptying ash, whereas a big bowl, yeah.
Well, see, I predominantly smoke flake. My two favorite tobaccos. I'm probably jumping ahead here, but my two favorite tobaccos are Stockaby Navy Flake and Sutliff 507 Virginia Slices.
Mm-hmm.
Those, if I just had those two, I'd be happy. As I said, I like plug tobacco, but just for the everyday, know that I'm going to get a good consistent smoke and know what to expect every time, and something that'll age well too.
Yeah.
I like the Navy Flake and the Virginia Slices. So, but as I said, I think they do better in a small to medium bowl.
Agreed. So you don't smoke an awful lot of Latakia then? You're not a big fan, or were you ever a fan?
Very rarely do I ever smoke Latakia. It just doesn't do it for me. It's just not my thing. I mean, it's a nice change up every now and then. Throw a bowl of Jermaine's Latakia Flake. And I've got a couple of pipes that I smoke Latakia in, but I like Latakia when the ambient temperature is cold.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't know why it changes it, but it does.
It's pretty rare where you are then in Brisbane.
Well, I've got about a 2-week window in the middle of winter here. Because winter here is on average a 23 degrees Celsius day.
Yeah.
But at night it might get down to like 8.
Okay.
So that's when the Latakia comes out, and if there happens to be a fire pit handy, then that's even better. So.
Okay. You have quite a number of Petersons, am I right in saying that?
I do. Well, I don't know what you call quite a number, but I got.
Would they be your favorite factory pipe, do you think? Or
yes, yeah, I do. Even though they're cursed with not being able to get a pipe cleaner down the damn things. Yeah, it's just one of them things, you accept it for what it is, I like their shaping, and I like the fact that regardless of what financial level you're at, you can still get that shape that you're after. They've got a range that's affordable regardless of what money you've got to spend.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let me see. How long have you been smoking pipes then, Glen? Or did you start off like a lot of us on cigarettes and move over then, or what happened?
No, I'm still a cigarette smoker, but I tried it first in 2006, hated it. Bork and Riff Cherry Cavendish in a no-named Italian briar, because it smelled nice. A Bork and Riff Cherry Cavendish smells nice in the pouch. There's no getting around that. But to smoke it, it's just burnt me up big time. And I put it away for a number of years. And about 2012, I was watching I can't remember what movie it was. I think it was a Bing Crosby movie. And thought, yeah, why not have a crack? And I'd just gotten onto YouTube then, and I thought, well, why not search it out? Searched out how to pack a pipe. So I still had this real dry pouch of Bork and Riff Cherry Cavendish shoved away, and that same pipe. And I think the guy I found, and I don't think he makes videos much anymore. His name was Boldo Donahue. He's a guy that lives in Fresno, California. And he had a how to pack a pipe video, and I watched that. And as any pipe smoker who sees YouTube for the first time will tell you, once you watch one, another one will come up, and down the rabbit hole you go. That was, yeah, as I said, 2012, and I just got hooked on it from there. I love collecting pipes. Pipes for me are little bits of art. So, I'm more a pipe collector than a tobacco collector.
Am I allowed to ask how many pipes you have roughly?
At most, it was about 350. Now I try and keep only what will fit in my pipe rack, which is about 64 pipes. I got a few pipes that are unsmokable or that I don't want to smoke that I can switch out if I want to, but I'd say call it 100. There you go.
So what happened to the others? Were they sold or passed on to people? Or
I sold them on, or I gave them away. Whatever I couldn't sell, and the ones I couldn't sell were, no-name basket pipe kind of things, or third or fourths of GBD or Chacom or something like that. And they were fairly well smoked. So, they weren't going to fetch any money. So I just found people that liked having lots of pipes and said, here, have these. But I've got this hard and fast rule now, one pipe in, one pipe out.
Okay, yeah. And you stick to that?
I just can't. Sorry?
You stick to that rule, do you?
It's a rule I have. I'm fairly flexible on it, but yeah, pretty much. I do keep to that rule because otherwise it just gets out of control.
Yeah.
My wife is pretty tolerant of my pipe smoking hobby and collecting, but you don't want to push it too much. Plus, my pipe rack is big enough. I don't need any more pipes hanging around. My little area that I come to smoke in is not that big. So, I tried keeping a small pipe rack upstairs, and it just got in the way. So I just okay, well, this is where it's all going to stay. It's
not a small pipe rack if it gets in the way, Glenn.
No, it's not.
Bookshelf, was it?
No, I actually made it out of some old decking wood,
right?
That I found hanging around. So it's just, I can move the camera and show you if you want.
Yeah, please.
That's it there.
That's class. And that's the one is that 64 then?
That's 64, yeah. I think it's 70 something if I load it up all along the top. But they all, like these are, but they all fall down all the time. So so that's the way I pretty much keep it.
That's great. Fantastic.
DIY, man, it's the way to go. Because trying to find a pipe rack like that to buy will set you back some serious coin.
Yeah. It'll be, a conservative estimate of what, 600 or 700?
Oh, easy. There's a couple of guys, and I'm not sure whether they're American or Canadian, but they're called Two Cousins, and they make really nice, pipe cabinets with the doors and everything. And to get something that would have this kind of capacity, you're looking at around about $1,000 US, and then you've got to try and ship it over here.
Yeah.
It's a big call. So I've got saws and lathes and whatnot that I can use. So it's
Yeah, you're obviously good with your hands. I know you make falcon bowls, which is really, really beautiful when you have a close look at some of them. But can you tell me about how did you start in woodworking then, or what with the business? What started it?
Okay. Let's go back 2014. I had a heart attack, and part of my rehab wasn't really a part of it. I couldn't go back to work, so I had to find something to do. And at the time, I was seeing a whole heap of woodworking videos on YouTube, and I saw this guy making a tamper where he literally stacked up, I think it was birch bark on a coach bolt, shoved it into his drill press, and then sanded it round and sanded it smooth. Yeah, anyway, so I thought, well, why not? Anyway, one of my uncles, I showed him what I was doing, and he said, well, come and see me, I've got something for you. And he gave me this little 18-inch benchtop lathe and said, you need to have a crack on that. And I think it sat on my bench for I know, a good 6 months before I got the courage up to go and, you know, put a piece of wood on it and have a go. And once I did, I was like, oh, wow, this is fun. So I started watching more wood turning videos and more wood turning videos. And yeah, it kind of, you know, grew from there.
So it was kind of mainly tampers to begin with then, or?
It was mainly tampers. Then I made a couple of ashtrays, a couple of bowls, a couple of cups. And although, well, I've got this pipe smoking hobby, let's see if we can combine the two. Mm-hmm. And I made an ashtray. I threw it up on Instagram, and someone said, I like that, want to buy it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what? And he says, yeah, I want to buy it. I'm like, oh, okay, give me an offer. And that was that. And I thought, well, this is cool. So I got some more wood and did a few more. And you know, I found I had a knack for it. And I've been doing it ever since. Mm-hmm. The Falcon bowls, they came, I'd gotten a hold of my first Falcon. And I'm like, the bowls that come with Falcons are not that great. You know, let's admit it, there's no grain in it. You know, they're all dark and, you know, pretty ordinary. Yeah. So I've been talking with a couple of pipe maker friends of mine and threw some ideas around. And I thought, you know, how hard could this be? So I got a couple of blocks of briar. And I'll say that the way that I do it is not my idea. I did not come up with it. There was a guy here in Australia that were making Falcon bowls with the O-ring on the bottom instead of the thread. Yeah. And I looked at it and took some measurements. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a go at this. Yeah. I'm going to do one of my own. I did it. It worked. That was the first one.
Jeez, beautiful, yeah. That's their hunter. Is that what they call the equivalent? The hunter bowl, the shape? No,
that's I just call it a bulldog.
Oh, okay.
Not that my camera's going to do it any good, but yeah.
Lovely.
So yeah, that was it. It's pretty dirty underneath, but it's got an O-ring on there. Yeah. And it's
probably a better seal than the way that the manufacturers do it. The O-ring.
Well, it works. I don't know whether it's better or not. I don't think it's better. I think it's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had the ability to put threads on them, I would, because over time the O-ring will, you know, disintegrate with the tobacco juice and whatever else. So
yeah,
or if they dry out, they will split. So you've got to put a new O-ring on it. Whereas, you know, if you've got a threaded bowl, the threads, the only way you're going to wear them out is if you take them on and off all the time.
Yeah.
But you can do everything with that you would with a traditional Falcon bowl. You know, there's no difference. They're drilled the same. They smoke. I think mine smoke a little bit better because I've faffed around with the internals on it and the airflow and all that sort of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it just ballooned from there.
So were you, did you have quite a lot of Falcons before you started doing that then, or had you been a fan of the Falcon systems? And
well, the Falcon, well, that goes back to my first pipe memory. And that is, you know, walking along a suburban street with my mother when I was about 4 years old, and I see a guy smoking a Falcon that looked exactly like that.
Okay, yeah.
Had that hunter bowl on there, that what they call their bulldog bowl. Mm-hmm. And he was smoking what I now know to be a cherry blend. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, oh, wow, that just smells so nice.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me for ages. And, you know, fast forward, you know, 20, almost 30 years, I'm working at the airport down on the Gold Coast. And I see an old guy smoking one just like that. And I thought, yeah, okay, I want that. And that's what pretty much sparked it off. You know, once I got a hold of my first one, that was it. If I had no other pipes, I'd be happy with my Falcons.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've got 15 of them now. And I've got that many because they're all different ages. So there hasn't been too much difference in design. with Falcon throughout the years. I mean, I think they started 1930 something, just before the Second World War, and they've changed very, very little. I was reading something the other day. There's like over 40 million of them being made now. Yeah, which makes them one of the most ubiquitous things on the planet, and people don't know it.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, I could go a whole diatribe of Falcon history, but suffice to say,
I used to think they were an English invention, but they were originally made in Chicago, weren't they? Or
Chicago. A guy by the name of Kentley Bug came up with the idea, and it was only after, during the Second World War, they were making airplanes out of aluminium, or aluminum, as the Americans call it. Of course, supplies got short, and I don't know how it came. Someone else could probably tell me this, but manufacturing got shipped over to the UK, and it's been there ever since. And last I heard, an Australian owned Falcon. I don't know who he is, but yeah. But they've been in constant production since was it 1937, I believe it is. I could be wrong on that, but yeah. But they've been in, and they haven't changed.
Yeah.
So,
why fix it if it ain't broke? I suppose it's that kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing needing changed.
Yeah, I mean, Falcons are one of them pipes that either you love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
There's no in between. They're either seen as an old grandpa pipe, or real chintzy, or people don't like the idea of metal. Or I was talking to Mike from Briar Blues. He won't do it. Won't smoke them because he can taste the aluminium. He can taste the metal. So some people's palates are a little bit more sensitive to it than others.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't taste it.
Yeah.
But they're a good throw around the workbench pipe.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it being in your pocket all day or in a travel case,
Yeah.
And they
plus if you're into customizing stuff, then they're so easy to customize. I mean, I've got mortar bowls, I've got a corn cob bowl, an olive wood bowl. I mean,
I love
some people may have seen this.
I love that's what I love the bent falcon with a big chimney stack. I was about to say.
Yeah, well, that's the calabash.
That's lovely. Yeah,
it's a working calabash. As far as I know, it's the only one in existence on a Falcon. So, it smokes unreal. It's really, really good smoker, and you get some really nice flavor. Yeah, it's great for plugs. It'll burn a plug down to nothing.
It looks fantastic. Do you ever work with Meerschaum? No.
I almost did. I bought 3 blocks, and I was talking to another pipe making buddy of mine, Chris Morgan, and he told me what I had to do in order to make it work, and it was just going to be too much of a headache, so I sold the blocks.
Yeah,
I regret it now that I didn't actually have a go at it, but for the way I work, for the system that I use to mount bowls to Falcons, I just don't think the Meerschaum would have stood up over time.
Okay.
I think it would have broken. So, and it would have been insanely expensive. So, I mean, a block Meerschaum bowl for one of those things can run you up to $100 US. So, depending on who's made it.
Yeah. Glenn, you did touch on this previously, but I got to ask anyway. We'll just ask the question. Your Desert Island blends 3. One of them was one of them Peter Stockaby's Luxury Twist, Virginia.
Luxury Twist Flake, it would be one. Peter Stockaby Navy Flake, Luxury Navy Flake, and Sutcliffe 507C Virginia slices.
Is that 507 just pure Virginia? Is it?
Yeah, it's just a straight Virginia. It's young and sweet and citrusy, and it has a few bready notes to it, but it's one of them tobaccos that if I leave it alone for long enough, I reckon it will do very, very well with age. Okay. It's cheap and readily available. It's never out of stock anywhere. So, and I mean, not that I want everyone to buy it up, but I think it's highly underrated. If you're a Virginia guy, then yeah, you'd probably dig it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's 3 mainly Virginia blends. So Glenn, do you not? You don't really like barley either, do you? Or I know you smoke the odd Kentucky though, don't you?
I do. I like All-X Dark Strong. I have gotten to really like that Mac Baron Dark Twist roll cakes. Kentucky's something that I've sort of really only just dipped a toe in. As a rule, I don't smoke too much burley because it bites me too much.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do it. You know, I used to absolutely love Velvet, you know, which is an old codger blend. Yeah. And one day something happened and I can't do it no more. I can't do aromatics because they're loaded with burley. Yeah. Not that I was the biggest aromatic guy to begin with, but anything that's heavily laden with burley, or burley is the upfront, then yeah, it'll bite me. Like I love the flavor of Wessex burley slice or Solani aged burley, but I've got to go real easy, and I can smoke those, but with a 9mm filter.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I've that's been a recent development too. You know, 9mm filters. I started using those White Elephant Mission filters.
Yeah, they're very good.
They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. You know, again, filters are one of them contentious things. Oh, yeah, be a man, don't use a filter, or you know, whatever. You know, I personally don't give a toss really. My pipe smoking is my pipe smoking. I don't give a damn.
I can't smoke without a filter now. I did it for so long that anytime I smoke without one, I notice, and it's too harsh. So
what happens to you? Is it just a harshness of flavor, or is it the bite, or what?
Just the harshness of flavor, really. I think I still smoke slowly enough not to get bitten, really, with most blends anyway, unless they're really wet aromatics. But yeah, I just can't smoke filterless anymore. I don't really enjoy it, so why do it? You know,
I like a Scudo or Peterson Deluxe Navy rolls, but I find them really spicy. So I throw them in a 9mm pipe and I can enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I think some blends, I'm going to sneeze here in a minute.
That's fine. That's a lot.
Some blends could use with a little bit of taming down for me.
Yeah.
There it goes. Every time I smoke.
Every time you smoke.
Sorry. Yeah, every time I smoke something with Perique in it, yeah, I just one good sneeze.
Well, I have to ask you, how is the tobacco smoking? What do you think?
First third of the bowl, it's quite spicy on the old beak, but like most Perique blends that I found, when you get down to the end of that first third, it just sort of mellows out, and I don't know whether I just get used to it or not, but you know, there's that. It's got this real dark, fruity kind of note to it. When I opened up the tin, I said, you know, fruitcake. So it's kind of giving off those same, you know, kind of notes. It's really quite pleasant.
That's good. I love it when the tin note kind of matches with the smoking of it.
I'm going to try it with a filter in, just to see what it'll do. I think it's worth throwing it in one of my filter pipes and giving it a go.
Yeah, why not?
So,
Now, we have to touch on something very serious. I'm afraid it's the great Vegemite and Marmite debate. I know that you recently put up a video of trying both of them. So your honest opinion, I was quite surprised that you give it quite some credit. So what do you think then? It's not readily available in the Australia Marmite, is it?
It's in the foreign section of the supermarket. So there's this little British section where you can get British, because we have Cadbury like you guys have Cadbury, right? So we'll get some chocolates that you guys, you know, have all the time that aren't necessarily available here. But things like McVitie's, what are they called? Jaffa cakes.
Jaffa cakes.
The Jaffa cakes. So things like that, or digestives or things like that, will be in this little section. And in that section there is Marmite. Only over here, like I said in my video, it's called Our Mate, which apparently is their slogan over in the UK. So
right.
On the back of the label though, it says, this is a Marmite product. Whatever. Okay. So, it was more the consistency that threw me off, the texture.
It's kind of like very well used engine oil, isn't it?
It really is. But it reminded me of brewer's malt or malt extract that you can put on toast. It has that same thick, runny consistency. And of course, when you stretch it out, it has a similar color. But having already been told, because, Tim, Hermit Piper, he was the one who got me onto it.
Yeah.
He'd already kind of sort of keyed me up to, what the flavor was. And because it's as I say, it's very, very familiar.
Yeah.
I'm always going to prefer Vegemite because that's what I'm used to, but it'd do in a pinch. So I've even had my kids try it, and they're like, it's a little weird, but okay, it's not too bad.
You could get used to it. That's good then. At least you didn't completely slag it off.
I was going to just for shits and giggles.
It really annoyed the English institution that is Marmite,
Well, got to keep up the Australian UK, relationship.
Now, Glenn, I know your cellar is quite extensive, and you even happen to have quite a few McClellan blends in there, don't you? But
I do.
Is there anything at the moment that you're thinking, I'm gonna cellar this in case it goes? Is there any blends you're smoking at the minute that you think I need to cellar this?
I would probably say a Scudo would be one.
Yeah.
And the Peterson Deluxe Navy Rolls.
Yeah.
I would love a very nice, selection of that. It's a funny thing. Like when I first found Virginias or learned how to smoke Virginias, I went down the whole McClellan's line, and for ages I thought the best Virginias on the planet are done by McClellan's. Well, of course, McClellan stopped producing, and of course we had to go and find something else. And I stumbled across, or the Mac Barron Virginia Flake, the one in the little yellow tin.
Yeah.
Mac Barron Navy Flake. Then there was the HH Pure Virginia and so on and so forth. And I got to thinking, well, okay, I've got to start looking at alternative, things and leave the McClellans in the cellar, where I'm not going to blast through it. And as time's gone on, I kind of don't miss the McClellans as much anymore. Yeah. It's nice to have it every now and then. I've got, 2016 Christmas cheer sitting here. I've got some McClellan's Aurora over here, which is, if you like red Virginias and tangy yellow and lemon or stove Virginias, you won't find any better. But it's like having dessert every day.
Yeah.
You can't always have it. You need your meat and potatoes. And, the Virginia slices and the Stockerby Navy Flake and the Twist Flake they're your everyday meat and veg.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
I don't mind mixing it up with an Oriental every now and then.
Yeah.
It's not something I can have all the time. I know there's a lot of guys that love Orientals and Virginias, but I've got to be in that mood for that sour hit that you get off Orientals.
Have you tried Peterson's Old Dublin yet?
No, I haven't, no.
I've just tried it for the first time. I've only had one bowl, but it's really nice. It's kind of Oriental forward. There is a little bit of Latakia, so maybe it would be enough to put you off, but I don't know.
I can tolerate Latakia if it plays a condimental role.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's all you can taste, like pirate cake, for example.
Yeah.
Some people absolutely love the smoky Latakia, you know, being in their face, but I tend to like the other stuff coming forward because it's such a powerful flavor.
Yeah.
So one thing I did try recently and surprisingly I liked a lot was Ennerdale Flake.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first foray into Lakelands.
And that's a heavy juice.
And,
yeah.
You know, when I got told it was like geranium and rose, I thought this is just going to be a little bit too frou-frou flowery for me. But it's a weird thing. You retrohale it, or you breathe out through your nose with it, and this florally note just plays at the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is working. This is good. So I kind of dig it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I'm a big fan of the Lakeland blends, as you know.
Yeah. It's not something I do every day, but you know, once or twice a week, just to
as an option,
mix things up.
I'm smoking some Condor at the moment, which is, I suppose it is a Lakeland, but it's not quite as floral as your Ennerdale or.
I'm dying to try that. That and Coniston Cut Plug. Those two, because I've never smoked them. You know, the variety being the spice of life, but they're just two English tobaccos I want to try.
I'm sure we could arrange. I can get you some. No worries.
Yeah, I have to do something there. But I mean, you're going to talk about typical or really good English tobaccos, Mick McQuaid plug or Revol plug. Yeah, I love those two tobaccos.
I've never had the Mick McQuaid. What's it like? Is there a topping in it or?
They say, oh, what was it now? Almond.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't taste it. I with that particular one, and if you've smoked Revor and you like Revor plug, they're very, very similar to me. So if you never get a hold of Mick McQuaid, be happy with Revor plug.
Okay. Yeah.
It's super rich. It's not. I mean, when you finish the bowl, you know you've got a good nick hit, but it's not super. It's not going to lay you out, give you the sweats and or the nick ups or anything like that. But it's a good stout, very bold in flavor, kind of tobacco, and it's not spicy on the tongue.
Does it have Kentucky as like
Virginia Burley?
Okay, Virginia Burley.
Virginia Burley.
Yeah.
It's just it burns so super slow and very, very cool. And even in like a small pot like that Prince I showed you before, there's an hour and a half smoke with just two thin slices cut off it.
Yeah, really?
So slow at burning.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try that then. It's the
Mick
McQuaid. It's, what's it called, the full name? Just Mick McQuaid plug or?
Mick McQuaid plug.
Okay, all right.
There is a ready rub version of it somewhere out there. I've never seen it. But Mick McQuaid is worth chasing down if you can find it.
Okay, yeah.
You never know who's got it. I mean, you'll pay for it, but it's a unicorn worth chasing, in my opinion. And I don't chase unicorns.
Yeah, I try not to either, but yeah, some like you say are worth it. Now, sorry to bring it up, but you're in Australia, and just like Canada as well, they're pretty much the government has their targets set on tobacco and pipe smokers, and they've lumped you in with cigarettes, and they're really.
I live in tobacco purgatory is where I live.
So how it's 50-gram pouch of tobacco?
Okay, I use Peterson University flake as the yardstick because it's available in a bunch of different countries. So in the US, it's around about I was thinking $13-14 a tin US, which would equate to around about $20 Australian or about £10 UK.
Yeah.
That same tin here is worth around about 125 to 130 bucks, depending on where you go, Australian, which would bring that back to around about 110 US, or
about 70 or 80.
That 70 or 80 pounds, no, 60 to 70 pounds, you know, which is just ridiculous. The Australian government is more addicted to smoking than what we are, because they love their tobacco tax.
Yeah.
So it's mental,
that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And I'm sorry to say, but I can't see, I can see it heading that way in the UK shortly as well.
I think eventually a lot of these governments will try and tax it into extinction. I mean, not that I get on the bandwagon too much about it, but I mean, I like to be left alone by governments. Bad enough, I've got to give them what I've got to give them. Yep. But just to have someone step in and say, you know, we don't think you're smart enough to take care of yourself. We're going to stop you from doing whatever it is that gives you, you know, happiness and pleasure. You know,
I know in the UK they have a sugar tax as well. Have they started doing that have they done that in Australia as well?
They've talked about it, but I think they saw that as going a step too far. I'm sure the Diabetes Foundation would love to be able to do that, but
yeah,
you know, taxing someone for, you know, consumption of sugar is just outrageous as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
because there's sugar in absolutely everything. So I think that would be seen as massive government overreach. I don't know how they let them get away with it there.
Yeah, agreed. I think they're only doing it on fizzy drinks and things like that at the moment.
That's what they've talked about here.
Yeah, that's where they'll start. I mean, I'm with you. I don't like it when the government tries to tell us what to say or what not to say or what to eat and what not to eat. They're very kind of pro-vegan these days as well. I mean, they just want us all eating plant-based foods and meat.
That score,
you know.
On that score, you know, your dietary concerns are your concerns, not mine.
Yeah.
You know, my dietary choices are no one else's business bar my own. So I don't see any reason why, you know, someone else should be telling me how much sugar to consume, and if they think I'm consuming too much, then they're going to charge me for it. You know, in the interest of, you know, saving me from myself. Anytime a government says, we're going to help you out, that's when you start to get worried, in my view. So governments are a fact of life. You need them for all kinds of services. I mean, you're a government employee, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah.
So, there's, I mean, my wife is a government employee. It's needed, but you're only needed so much before it becomes intrusive. And I think, you know, dictating as to whether you can enjoy a nice bowl of tobacco or a glass of beer or, you know, a sweet fizzy drink is just a step too far.
Yeah, agreed. But that's scary. I mean, I don't know what would happen. It just leads to one thing, does it? Leads to a black market, doesn't it?
That's all they've done here. Is they've created a very, very successful and thriving black market on foreign cigarettes. That's all they've done. You know, I was working in a cigarette shop when plain packaging came in here. Yeah. And it's very, very similar to what you guys have over there.
Yeah. I call it the Army Rations Green.
Yeah, OD Green, yeah. I mean, it was that much of a joke here. People started actually collecting the different pictures and, you know, selling them on eBay. It was just hilarious. But when it came in, it made absolutely zero difference to either people giving up smoking or the uptake of it. I mean, kids are kids. I found a way of getting them when I was a kid, so they do the same now.
Yeah.
You know, it makes absolutely zero difference. But here in Australia, I don't know what it's like over there in the UK, but they lump pipe smoking in with cigarettes. They lump cigars in with cigarettes. It's all the one evil.
Yep, that's what they're doing here as well. Yep. Even though, I mean, they know the statistics, the science is in. It isn't. Yes, it's not good for you. It's not healthy, but it's not anywhere near as harmful for your body.
Everything in life has risk. Absolutely everything. You know, you go running on the side of the road for your health, you get hit by a truck. You know, if you do like I do, I'm a wood turner. It's got to be one of the most dangerous forms of woodwork around. But I do it for fun, and it is fun.
Yep.
But provided you do it safely and do it in moderation, there's not a big problem. You know, so people get on planes every day. Yeah, so everything in life has risks.
Yeah.
You know, people who use tobacco accept that risk. So it's their choice. It's their personal choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you heard about or seen Mutton Chop Piper's back? Have you seen his recent video?
I have.
He's looking. I think he looks well. I know a lot of people are shocked at his grey chops, but he said himself he used to dye them. So I don't think he looks
well, if you go back and look, if you go look back at his earlier videos where he was dyeing his chops, to me, it looks like a couple of dead skunks. It's like, if you're going to get grey, man, you may as well just let it go. I mean, grow old gracefully, for crying out loud. Who gives a crap whether you got grey on your face? I got grey on my chin. I'm lucky enough I live long enough to get them, so I don't give a damn about grey.
Yeah, wear pride. But yeah, I think he's got over that. I think he's gonna remain grey. But yeah, interesting that he's come back. I wonder if he will stick around or.
Well, I know he's. I started calling his subscribers the Chop Club or the Choppers. I'm sure the Choppers will. Well, they're ecstatic that he's back. I mean, there was videos to say Mutton Chops put out a video. You know, yay! It was almost as exciting as Over a Pipe's Esoterica drop videos.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point now where I'll watch different YouTube channels for entertainment value, not for educational purposes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think for the main part, I've gotten smoking a pipe down to a fairly reasonable, level.
Yep.
I'm competent, so I really don't have too much to actually learn now about the art of smoking a pipe. Although, I'd like to be able to put a pipe down and keep it lit, but that's just the way it goes. I know what I like as far as tobacco is concerned. So the people that I watch now on YouTube are more people that I find hilariously funny, or pleasant to watch. So that's the only reason why. I mean, I really don't make that many pipe videos anymore, simply because it's all been said.
Yeah, I get
so
that. Yeah.
If I've got something to say, then I'm sure I'll make a video, or if I feel like being an idiot, then, I'm sure there's probably going to be a quick 30-second review of Dorchester coming up.
Yeah. I like your wee short reviews. They're hilarious.
As long as the intro and the outro are longer than the actual body of it, then I've succeeded.
Yeah.
I mean, it started off as a bit of a jab at stuffing things with these 40-minute reviews. I mean, I see a review and it's like, okay, well, all I want to know is what's in it. Is it an aromatic, Virginia, Atlantic, and English? And do you like it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a review is just someone's opinion.
Yeah.
Because I'm not necessarily going to like the same thing that you like, and vice versa. So a review is purely, this is my subjective view of this thing. If it came down to, Stonehaven, well, of course, I'm going to stand up loudly and proudly and say that is the best lawn fertilizer you can possibly lay your hands on. And I think enough people now know that I'm not the biggest fan of Stonehaven. Give me a bowl of Nightcap before I'll smoke that stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, Glenn, finally, I will just ask, I like to ask people this as a final question, just to get their take on. For new pipe smokers then, would there be any kind of piece of advice that you would impart to them, the people that are just starting out on their journey?
Don't rush, be patient, and practice.
Excellent.
There's a million and one ways of doing it. Okay, some are not quite as successful as others. My firm opinion is that cobs are not the way to go for beginners.
Agreed.
And my reasoning for that is because cobs have got wide open drawers. And typically, I would say there's more cigarette smokers take up pipe smoking than people who have never smoked before. You know, I mean, okay, there's a few guys that go from cigars to pipes. You know, I mean, and I'm not quite sure of the numbers there, but I'm pretty certain that most people who go from, you know, cigarettes to pipes are like me. And will puff, and especially if we like something, you'll puff because you want more, and cobs have got that wide of a draw on them that the more air you get down your tobacco, the hotter it's going to get. So, I mean, I'm surprised because I started out on cobs like everyone, you know, like a lot of other people do. And I burnt my tongue so bad. I actually had blisters on my tongue going, why the hell do people do this to themselves? And just over time with experience and learning lessons, I've just, if someone come to me now and say, what's the best pipe for me to get? I say, get yourself a good cheap briar. You know, go get a Bones pipe or get yourself a Falcon pipe. They're not necessarily the best beginner pipes, but hey, if you drop them, they're not going to snap the stem off or break the bowl or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of cobs aesthetically either, but I know there's a million and one people out there that love cobs. I'm just not one of them.
Well, listen.
Unless they're on a Falcon.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Glenn.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Good. We'll have you back on, I'm sure, at some point. But
I'd love to.
Excellent. I'll have the recording here and we'll continue a chat anyway. But thanks for joining me.
Love it. Fantastic. Thanks for having me.